If people saw the real me and the real parts of my business, they would run away and abandon me. It's a real quote written by none other than Niyama Xiang in January 2021, actually January 5th, 2021, about 20 minutes before uh, coming on and making this video here. And what that indicated to me was there's a part of me that has been playing the game for a while. I would say probably for at least like the last 6 months, where there was this realization. There was a realization that Niyama had come, Niyama had arrived, and for years I'd gone through the transition of being Niyama and then pushing away Niyama to be Nemo, and then going on over the last 3 years this journey to rediscover myself, and then a decision to really come and show up and say like, okay, now this is what happens once you can be you. Like this is how you can bring everything together. And this message in particular, that if people saw the real me and the real parts of my business, they would run away and abandon me. That just showed up right now from a conversation I was having with one of my teammates. And there's so much to share. There's a lot that's transformed and evolved over the last few months. Like just the fact that I have teammates that I'm working with is a completely different game than I was playing before him. And and there was a moment in there where I was being real with her. I was sharing some ways that I could see myself, even in all of my asks of my team, how I was getting in the way of what they do best, of what it is that I had wanted in terms of my own vision, and how the very thing I was asking for was something that was leading me to what I didn't want. To make this a little bit more concrete here, we I'm right now. I feel like the last few months have been like getting things ready. We've been setting ourselves up for a pretty awesome 2021, and like I'm ready to be back out here. And there were some things that were right when we were getting ready to go live with it. Um, all of a sudden, I came up with like 12 new projects that needed to get done. 12 new tasks that were each and of themselves were a brand new project, and spent the last day and a half just trying to understand it and organize it and figure out my priorities and say like, okay, well, if this is going to get done, how's everything else going to get done? And really just like, I mean, I created a whole new slew of like ways to just serve, and new systems and processes associated with them. And in my struggle to bring that out to life, I was talking to one of my team members about it, and I caught myself in the middle of it. I caught myself as I was like trying to explain away why everything needed to get done. I caught myself when I was looking for that person to carry me, carry me further and to like just kind of take it on for themselves. And what I realized is like, wait a minute, like what was I doing in the first place, even coming up with any of these ideas? This is not. This is why I'm working with this individual. This is their domain. You know, what is it? What is it that's happening? And so I spent some time here. I like to walk in the shoes that I ask others to do, and to go and to really explore like what is the benefit, what can happen if you're allowing yourself to be truly honest, truly open, truly vulnerable, truly present, and fully showing up within your business. What does that actually look like? So I sent this to my teammate. I sent her a message that went on for a while, uh, and at the very end, I wrote that line. If people saw the real me and the real parts of my business, they would run away and abandon me. What you may or may not know is that my number one fear in the world is being alone. But what I've also realized is that this fear of being alone, has morphed over time as I have taken on various things. Uh, let's just look at this in the last 3 years in particular. Like I moved to a new country. I work in a business where I'm primarily by myself. I'm sending out messages and talking. I'm talking to you, and I'm in this conversation with you, and I can be alone with it as well. And with thought leadership, for the really compelling things, the things that change the game, aren't the thoughts that other people have had before. So I spend a lot of time alone, and at the same time, I recognize right now just how this is showing up once again. And I almost titled this one here, New Year, New Level, More Me. And what I mean by this here is I am oh so familiar with the limitations on self, the things that I'm trying to keep for myself from being, it's almost like being discovered as myself, so that other people, because my fear is that if you really knew me, then you wouldn't want anything to do with me. If you really knew me, you would see how disorganized I am, or like what's going on with the plans that I have in the business, or the revenue that I'm bringing in, and all these, and like what's my impact and all, and my influence and all this stuff. I'm like, what if you really saw that? What if you really saw, like, just on the other flip side of this year, not from like the mess side, but just for how beautiful my my mind and vision is. Like, if you really saw what I've been concocting in my mind, and what I've been creating and recreating and so on and so forth, would that freak you out? That's the energy that was actually in this message. It was more like, hey, I like, there's so much that I have to give, and I get it so much that I'm afraid that if I let you know how much I understand this, you're gonna be freaked out and be like, "This is way too much. You're too intense. I just don't need this right now." Um, I'm grateful that my teammate didn't respond that way, but I also feel like, and I feel like this is the reason why me and this teammate in particular work so well together. Like, she leans into the challenge, and is there. But I came out here because I said those words to her, and just the realness. It's like, if people saw the real me and the real parts of my business, they would run away and abandon me. And that gave me a clue. And this is what I do. I gave me a clue that what what I'm afraid of being seen, like, in within the business, just even in my interaction with that teammate. If I'm afraid of having that be seen by that teammate who I trust, and we've been building that trust for a while, within the business, then how might I be showing up outside of the business? How might I be showing up out in the world where I'm afraid that people will actually see me? If this is a thing that I'm doing inside, within a place where I already feel like it's my space, like, I brought the teammate on, and I'm still like, but I don't want you to see me. How might that be showing up for me, beyond that? And I think, like, not, I recognized it. It happened. This happened a half hour ago. I wrote this 30 minutes ago, and I knew that I needed to come on now, right here, and be in the practice once again of restoring myself to a place of allowing people to see me on the journey. I have been waiting and waiting and waiting, and trying to get things to a place where they're done, so I can come back out here and, like, almost like take the position of, like, hey, like, I know the benefit of being yourself, and here goes all the results, and here goes all the things that have come from it. And I've spent a lot of time trying to build that out. And it's almost like every time I go a step further, I have to add even more to make it, to justify the time that it's taken, or to justify the vision overall. And I got a message the other day. Facebook wanted to tag me on something, and it said it was a picture, of me. It said, is this a photo of you? And it was actually by, two people. I'm going to look up the names right now. It is by, Matt Wilmot and, Jane Klinger, and they had participated they had actually organized a set of conversations where they had it with a number of different people, and asked them 10 different questions. They all came from different backgrounds. I didn't know this was taking place. It wasn't actually on my radar, and the only reason it showed up at all was because, like, my picture was used in one of the pictures that they had uploaded. It was a great picture of me. I look awesome. I look like thinking and fun at the same time. It's a cool picture. I'll send a link to that conversation, because I do want to. It's really interesting altogether what they did. So they had a bunch of different people. I'm not, like, from all over, share their answers to 10 questions. And one of the questions in there was generally like, who's been, someone who's meant something to you, someone who's been inspirational to you recently. And these were questions from, I guess, June to September of 2020. And, we're finally here. No one's on the live, so I'm like finally alone. I gotta be in this. I gotta be in the space of, like, no one's here. I don't. But the questions were all in from June 2020 to September 2020. And one of the people wrote back and said, like, hey, the person that's coming to mind for me is Niama Shang. Like I didn't really know him from Cornell, but he's been out here and he's been out in the exploration of things. He asks himself the questions and he's willing to be seen trying to figure it out or being in the midst of the open-endedness of it all. That's my paraphrase of it. I'm actually going back and rereading that on a regular basis because I guess the way I can describe it is like I felt truly seen. Um, it was it's exactly what I've been going for. It's exactly how I had been structuring myself in the business up until this point. And somewhere along the lines, I think I switched from being what I call the Sherpa, the person who's on the journey with you, to being like the guru at the top of the summit, the person who like kind of knows the responses. And I've been doing a lot of things with people. There's a number of different reasons why I've been showing up differently at different times. But what I recognize is that that there is a true benefit in just showing up, and it's almost like this is the external recognition, the external uh, something I just needed to see to remind myself, especially as we head into this new year and beyond, of what really matters, what really matters. And for me, that's going to be that's back to living my life out loud with all of you, letting you know about what I'm thinking, what the challenges are that I'm facing, how I'm building out the business, how I'm building out, approaching, uh, uh, just bringing America together, and how I'm looking to see how like to make my change in the world. What it's like for me as a father and doing all this while also like learning how to be not just a father but a husband uh, to my wife who's now a mom. Like there's so much, there's all this stuff that's in there. And I think that all I'm feeling right now is just this element of just being back to being real, um, and letting you know that you will likely catch me most times in the middle of something. You'll likely catch me as my thoughts are evolving. You'll likely catch me as the experience is happening. I literally was sent a message to the person that was in this conversation with me, and I had to give him space because I had sent so much to him. I was like, let me give you some space. And the conversation was naturally rapid, and I was like, I think I need to go on now while this is raw, while this is real for me, so I don't come back and talk about this as a nice, tidied up, oh, a few months ago I had this experience with someone on my team, which I can do, and I'm happy to do that through another medium. Um, but I want to make sure that right now, in this moment, I am serving you by serving me and just showing up and calling myself out and being real about the realness of this all. What is it like to create a business where you are actually willing to be seen as yourself throughout it? What is it like to live a life there? And how might the issues that you feel running in the back of your head, how might they be playing out for you in other ways and keeping you or allowing you to do things that go beyond what you had known would be possible? That's the questions that I'm exploring right now. There's so much more I want to share. I think I'll stop this one here and instead just be committed to coming back out and sharing the journey and sharing the questions, the good, and the bad. I think there's a lot of that goes on. So just know, here goes the thing. Like, I just really appreciate you. I appreciate you seeing me. Um, and we're going to keep going with this year. I'll add one last thing as I end this year. In 2021, I'm going to come up with my an income and basically an income impact and influence report. I'll share more about that when it gets launched at the end of the month. But I want to be open about this stuff. I want you to see the real parts of my business. I'm realizing that like this is where I need to lean into, and I want to make sure I'm leaning into it more. I had that planned already to release the report. I just didn't know that it was on my mind, and I was holding it in my heart, or holding things in my heart around this business in this way. So it is oh so good to be back. I I cannot wait to keep playing this game of being seen and to play this game as it is here. I invite you to join in this conversation with me here. I can't see anyone's responses right now, but like share something here. What about this struck you? Why did you decide to tune into this video altogether? What in what areas in your life that they would run away and abandon me is my fear, right? Is there an element of your fears that are showing up and keeping you from moving forward? I'm right now, I'm all about taking the courageous path and just leaning just a little bit, 1% more into the courageous path each and every time. And I would love to engage in a conversation with you. Sometimes I respond back on Facebook. I think a lot of you actually, it's really cool. You'll talk to each other, and that's what I really am about, like opening up the conversation that wouldn't normally be happening. And if you really want to speak with me, I'm spending time right now in two different places. One, I have my melting pot conversations, which are an experiential and experimental group of conversations with strangers all across the US and beyond, talking about things that are issues, opportunities, and just like contentious areas with other humans, other people who care about the future of America and how we as people relate with each other. We've had conversations that have gone to, about othering. We've had conversations that have gone into looking at individualism versus collectivism and how that impacts stuff. We take a look at the real issues that are happening right now, and we spend some time going deeper to see what the real stories and how we as people are making our decisions and are impacted. And the whole point here, and just so you know, if you're coming to this thing here, just know the point is for us to get out of our silos and the echo chambers, and instead get back into a melting pot where there's a lot of different ingredients all coming together, all happening at around the same time. And my invitation to you, and it's the invitation I leave for everyone that comes there, is that if you're coming to this here, don't look to try and change anyone. It's not about convincing or persuading. We don't need any of that here. What we need here is for you to come in willing and ready and seeking to be changed yourself. If you don't leave there one bit more transformed, then you haven't played full out. That's the space that we create within the melting pot. It's a free, open experience for people. And the way I'm creating it in this way, because I know that I live in an echo chamber. I'm quite siloed with the people who are in my life. And I know that if we can just keep connecting with each other, eventually we'll have quite the eclectic group of people from all over. The other way that you can come play with me is inside my Courage Gym. The Courage Gym is something that I am just super excited about. We launched it last year, and it brings people together to walk a courageous path together and to build the muscle of what really being courageous in terms of being themselves when it relates to their impact, their influence, and their income. Right? That's what we're focused on in there, and more than anything else, that's where I love to play. It's my mastermind community. You can come check it out. Go to niyama.com/courage gym to come hang out with us inside of the Courage Gym, or go to niyamashawn.com/melting pot to come join us at an upcoming melting pot conversation. All right. And the melting pot conversations have started. We're like, boom, we're in it. Like 2021 is here. We're rolling with it. So I'll leave it at that. Know that, look, I'm here to be seen, and I see you, and I appreciate you. We got it this year. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hey, Niyama here. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet, and then go ahead and leave one of your insights from today's video in the comments below. If you're looking to take this deeper, you can go and watch another video, or you can go to niyama.com/tribe to get exclusive invitation to our tribe member only events. I'll see you soon.